Well, hey there, YouTube. It's Petey Two Finger coming at you. It's like 2:30 in the morning. I just finished watching a film that I really enjoyed. My wife and I both really enjoyed this. Special thanks to my dear personal friend, Tony, who recommended this. We had been on the phone back and forth about. I was consulting in Tony because he is one of my guitar experts. I'm not very good with guitar stuff, and Tony is. So I had made a reference to the angle of some bridge saddles on a particular guitar being similar to that same angle as Evel Knievel's Snake River Canyon jump. I figured maybe Tony would be able to grab onto that and comprehend what I meant, and he did. And we were been going back and forth about this as I've been going back and forth on this guitar, trying to get it set up. I had my only experience with the professional guitar repairman. I paid the guy like $100 to replace he was supposed to fix a broken headstock on a Les Paul that I did not break. Okay, let's get that straight. I owned a Les Paul guitar when I was a kid. It was a really substantial. It was a Memphis is the brand name on it. But it was a really heavy, but really just a solid, it wasn't plywood. It was mahogany, Les Paul copy, Memphis Les Paul copy. And more recently, I have been gifted this beautiful Epiphone Les Paul special that has the headstock snapped completely off. So after trying different methods and different glues, because it was at a right angle, typically when a Les Paul guitar headstock will break, it will break and give you some sort of an angle, something to maybe glue it back together. This was complete right angle break. So I had tried like using the strings to put forward pressure on the headstock and then wrapping rubber tubing like the type that you use to tie off your arm and shoot up hard drugs if you're a drug addict. Yeah, that stuff. I've got a good quantity of that because I am a drug addict. And I would wrap that stuff around it's like on a Strat, you know, you got your tuners are 6 in a row, but on a Les Paul they're 3 and 3. So I could tie this rubber tubing off and have that pull providing back pressure to the forward pressure applied by the string set. And I really thought I had it licked like the 5th time gluing this Les Paul. And then of course it lasted a couple months, and then the headstock. So I had taken the guitar in to the only well-known luthier that I know. I think the total amount of time that he had the guitar was 4.5 years. I went there today and got the guitar back and dropped off the Evel Knievel Snake River Canyon guitar and another one, which this particular guitar, my Court 45, if you guys know me, if you've been around, you know what I'm talking about. And that guitar, it just needed some TLC beyond the scope of what I am able to do. And I'm completely fine with admitting that as far as like getting the truss rod stuff right with the saddles, the bridge saddles, it can get hairy for me. Now on certain guitars like this one here, the yellow one, you guys know that this was a black Stratocaster. that I got for $50 on Goodwill.com auction, and then replaced the pickups. Of course, I stripped everything down, painted it with a rattle can of Walmart primer, and then I used my homemade airbrush system to paint it canary yellow. Replaced the pickups, replaced the plastic on it. You know, it had white knobs, and I thought this would just look a lot better with this color scheme. And a really tacky gold whammy bar that I chopped down. But this guitar, for some reason, despite the fact that I removed every part on it, sanded it down, refinished it, and then put all those parts back on it and set it up. And the tremolo arm, the tremolo system, I mean, you can pretty much beat it to your heart's content, and it goes back in tune. Which my American Standard Strat doesn't do that, which is like super frustrating to me because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I took it apart and put it back together as best as I could. You know, I did replace the nut on that guitar. As well as the pickups. The saddles and the tremolo are original. So yeah, I got 2 guitars in the shop and I got one back. It's like this guy, he's supposed to be this legendary guitar tech, and of course the only thing that Petey takes in is something that he's never seen before, and he couldn't handle it. So I got the thing back here, and I cleaned it up, and there may be a chance for this Les Paul. So that's what's going on. That's the update. And hey, since I got you here and the light's blinking, you guys got to check this movie out. The joke about the Evel Knievel Snake River Canyon with the bridge saddles being angled like this. My good dear personal friend, who has always treated me with nothing but respect, and it's kind of a mutual admiration society. Like, he really can make me laugh, this guy, and I really try to compete with this guy's sense of humor, because he's really funny. But he let me know tonight about this movie, which my wife and I just finished watching it, and it's called The Devil at Your Heels. So this is a 1981. It's filmed by the Film Board of Canada, and I went looking for it on the usual gray area free streaming services and didn't find it. Where I did find it was on the Analog Video Shop Redo, this YouTube channel. He uploaded this July 11th, 2022, and it's only got 20 views. So this is a documentary. It's called The Devil at Your Heels. The film is about Montreal-born stunt driver Ken Carter, who made a living by risking his life. He was born as Kenneth Gordon Polsek in a poverty-stricken neighborhood, dropped out of school at the age of 14 with only a 4th grade education. Carter was ambitious and decided at an early age he wasn't going to spend his life in a 9-to-5 job. So at the age of 16, he began to work with different daredevil teams. So this is a story of a real stuntman, not so much a Hollywood stuntman. This guy was just knucking futs. Like, seriously, I really did not believe I was watching reality. And the reason for that, this Analog Video Shop Redo, he's chosen to title it the video where you can watch this. The full title is The Devil at Your Heels, 1981. Spinal Tap mockumentary meets real life Evel Knievel obscure cult doc. Okay, so Spinal Tap was pretend. Mockumentary is pretend. So, I mean, he's saying Spinal Tap mockumentary meets real life Evel Knievel obscure cult doc. Now, Evel Knievel is in this film shortly, but ultimately, I can see the Spinal Tap in the mockumentary because in the beginning of this thing, the guy is clearly acting. And some of the things that he said are so bizarre and just completely ridiculous. So this is something Petey gives you double thumbs up when there's something you really need to check out. The Devil at Your Heels, unbelievably entertaining thing about a guy who was completely out of his mind and also applied himself and did some amazing work. I'm not going to talk about the ending or anything like that. I'm just going to say that the movie does deliver. So you should definitely check this out. The Devil at Your Heels. I'll leave a link in the description. Check this one out. And super special thanks to my pal, my good, dear personal friend, Tony, for recommending this. I was just kind of randomly throwing out. I was like, yeah, Devil, Race with the Devil with Peter Fonda. Yeah, remember that one? But hey, when you're under the influence of LSD every day of your life. All right, you guys, definitely check this one out. I put the link in the description for you. It's 2:40. It's coming up on 3 o'clock in the morning. I need to cook up some crack and tie off, and I think the wife is about due for a fix. I just let the cat into the mushrooms and the PCP, so we're going to have to fire up our clandestine laboratory for breakfast. So I'm going to have to cut you guys short and make sure that you leave a 45-minute long answer machine message on someone who you barely know and impose your will on them and put yourself above them, because that's what you do. In the meantime, if you have a pet that you can physically show affection to, not so much a dog, but like if you got a cat and you could figure out some way to hug that cat where you're not really interfering with it or imposing your will on it so much. But that's what I mean, you could just as well send me $5,000 through PayPal link, or $500 as a gift through YouTube here. Gifting is enabled on this channel, certainly. But what I would ask you to do is just hug that pet. Grab that cat, give it a nice hug, give it a treat, and that's the most I can hope for. Peace.